Okay, so I look bad, but I had a breakdown this morning again because my table was very mean to me. And so came from work. I slept for like 2 hours and then I went to an interview, which I knew I didn't get because I was like, if I have any emotions on my face, you can see it. I look even more unhappy, so I knew I didn't get it. But I decided to go to a lake park. I love being by water, and I journaled and just processed all of my emotions because my body was like starting to like numb it out, and like I was starting to feel better. But whenever you numb stuff, like you don't heal, you don't process, you just get stuck. So I was like, I need to like process this. Like I just felt it like weighing on me. So I went to the lake park and journaled for like 3 or 4 pages about what I was feeling. I cried and then I just enjoyed the scenery and I felt a lot better. I was going to call out because I am really anxious about going to work because that part of town there's not a lot of black people, and so to be around black people is kind of weird for a white person, and then to have a black person as your server is even weirder if you like are in a white area and you're not really used to black people. And then there's like, black people aren't usually like in a serving industry, and then on top of that to have a face like me is even more shocking. So I can see like the shock on their face, like when I am like, hey, trying to take their order, and like that affects me because I like think it and process it so bad, like for like every table. It happens with every table, and I just think about it, and then it just makes me feel like super insecure and anxious, and then I go through the whole cycle again. So I journaled, was at the park. I feel way better, and I just last minute I decided to go to work. So I took 2 Benadryls because Benadryl helps with anxiety, and I didn't know that because it has like antihistamine. So I did that, and I felt drowsy and nervous, but I'd rather feel drowsy and nervous versus anxiety. Way better. So I did that, and then I went to work. I actually bought glasses too because the thing that's really jarring to people is my eyes. My eyes usually just sit, well, when I'm talking it's different, but when I'm serving, I don't know why my eyes sit like this, and I have dead eyes. You can't really tell on the camera, but I have dead eyes. So like so in real life it looks like someone with like schizo eyes or like mental health eyes, like their eyes just like, or like someone that's just like lived, like has been through it for like, you can tell they had a rough life. Like I have those eyes. And then on top of like when I feel nerves and stuff like that, you feel it in my face, and on top of that I have an RBF, so like it's a lot. And so I bought glasses that are prescription and I can't even see out of, to go to my tables because it takes a little bit more off of my eyes. Also, I don't wear eyelashes because I'm not trying to draw attention to my eyes. So I do my eyebrows lighter, and then I don't wear eyelashes, and then I wear those glasses. So it like 3 times, 3 minus, like less and less attention to my eyes, and I feel more confident because I'm like, oh, I look nice, and I just tell myself, oh, I look nice, and no one's scared of me and stuff like that. So like today I did it, and I actually was like, people at work were like, it looks way better, and I was like, okay, good. So I felt better, and I was serving good. So I am almost done with that store. I'll be gone in like a month because it's too far, and also like I screwed it up. I have a stronger personality, and I'm more on the negative side, and so the one of the main girls left, and it was just me and another girl, and like pretty much brought the whole store down. I like just stopped doing my stuff. I talk loud. I'm always on my phone, and then like everyone else just started following and doing that, and then so the store is not run very well, and then I overthink stuff. And so when you overthink stuff, and then you start getting anxiety about stuff, and like it's really hard. So I have a mean face, and then when I'm talking to my coworkers, I want them to think I'm nice. So I over like everything with my face expressions because I want them to think I'm nice, and it's just a habit that I was doing. But then like throughout the shift when it's really busy and stuff like that, like because I have to be thinking about it, And but when I'm not thinking throughout the shift, like I'll just like normally just talk like this and answer like this, and I can see them looking at me like, what's going on. So, and they might even not think that's like, oh, she looks mean, she's giving me attitude, but in my head I'm like, oh no, they think I'm like mean or something like that. So I over like, hey, no, I'm good, over emphasize my words, and I go like this. And it's different for when I'm busy and talk like this, and I can see the difference. But I started like really panicking whenever I see, like, I forget and I see them like just look at me. And so that like it created anxiety. So now every time I look in their eyes, like I get anxiety. So I just don't I don't make eye contact. So I'll just be like, yeah, like, but I'll won't make eye contact because I have anxiety. And me and this girl got really close. Her name's Lindsay, but then like I have anxiety. I don't like make eye contact, and I'll just stay awake. So like we used to talk like the whole shift, but like we like making eye contact is really hard for me all of a sudden, which I know she's not gonna understand. So I like just like would like say like talk in passing, but I would just pretty much stop talking to her as much as I did because I'm not comfortable talking to her anymore because of my overthinking, my anxiety. And so I think she felt some type of way, which I understand if like I was her and I didn't know anything about mental health, and like me and her, someone's really close, but then they stop looking at me, stop talking to me. And so I know that she's been talking to the other girls about me, which I understand. And like I have a lot of mental health problems. I dissociate a lot. And so I don't feel like it's me talking. And so I over enunciate, and I know that when I like sometimes like to some days just be talking like this, and the next days be like, hi, when I don't know what I look like, because I have depersonalization and I have derealization really bad, and I dissociate. So I don't feel like I'm like I can't tell what I look like. I can't feel what I look like. And so I over like do everything whenever I'm like dissociated or whatever. And so like I know that they think that's really weird. I can tell that like they just stare at me and I just ignore it, but I can tell. I think that's why they always ask if I'm like, they don't ask me, but they ask like my coworker like, hey, is she crazy and stuff like that. I understand. I actually told them that I'm on like mental health medicine. So, and I'm not, but I am so embarrassed that I can't function like normal, and they think I'm weird. So I told them I'm on mental health medication, and they actually believe me, which is really sad. But it's just like I don't know how to connect. I get as close as I can, and then my body just pushes back. And so yeah, like I got to that store. I didn't do my all. I do my own thing. I brought the whole store down because they, the people that are coming in after me started copying me. So the store is like not how it should be. And then with my coworkers that I used to be close with, but after a while they're like, oh, she's weird. They have their own little bubble and they're really close and talk to each other. And then, I can they let me talk. If I talk to them, they're gonna be nice, but I can tell that they're more comfortable with each other, which kind of makes me sad. But it's just like I don't know how to. I handle my mental health issues as best as I can, and this is the best I can. I don't have medicine. I don't have like help. I am all alone trying to work through all this stuff, and so I kind of was sad when I left the shift because, I was saying bye, but I got really scared to say bye because I'd have to make eye contact, and my body associates eye contact with a couple people as like this nervous feeling. So when I look at this person, I feel nervous, so I don't even look. And so I'm just like, bye bye. I like force myself to say bye. And so I did that. I know that they were saying I was weird afterward and stuff like that, but I left and I was really sad because like I can't connect. I can't keep friends. I can't like my mental health is just raging, and like the more I heal, the worse it gets. And like the like it just it my whole life I've been numb. I moved in the children's place when I was 4 or when I was 6, and then before that my mom's schizophrenic, so I didn't like have any bond or connection with her. And then I moved in the home, and like they taught you like you don't cry, don't whine, you be strong, and you live with 30 other people, so you just learn. So my whole life I've been numb. I never cared as a child. Like I never was embarrassed. I never was hurt. I was like the super loud, super like obnoxious, like negative, mean person. I bullied, like, but that's just because that's how I was taught. That's what they did to me, and that's what I did to everyone else, and that's just how I went through life. So now that I'm at 20, I started at 25, and now at 25, I start healing, and I feel for the first time someone, people always said stuff about me. I didn't care, but for the first time, someone like laughing at me, try because I'm trying to like be nice and over enunciate my words because I know I have already RBF, like it literally takes me out. Like any little emotion takes me out. That person laughed at me, and I went home, was bawling, and was like thinking about suicide just because someone laughed at me. But because I've never felt it before, it is crazy. And now, I mean, I love the healing that's going on, because now I can associate that feeling with what I do to others. As I got older, I was just like, you be nice to, like, don't be a butt to people. Just, it's more like, just don't do it. Why would you do it? But now, like, I can feel what it feels like, and I'm like, don't be a butt to people, because you don't want them to feel like you feel. Don't make someone feel that. And so, like, as soon as that happened, I'm crying and like thinking about suicide, and I'm all alone and stuff like that. But then like that popped in my head, like, okay, but you treat people like sometimes like that and cause them to feel the same way you want to feel. So don't treat people like that. And that just came in my head, and I was like, oh wow, that is such, like, I'm growing. And I saw something on Instagram that was so like, it spoke to my soul. Healthy people that come from 2-parent households that are emotionally stable. They don't have to, they are set for life. They're not set for life, but they are like, I don't even know. Like mentally, they are prepared. They have support. They have family. Like their starting point is so different from ours. Like a lot of those kids, like they get married. Like some of them like could, if they want, like get married at 18, 19, because they have support. Their parent, they're like, the husband has support. They grew up in a healthy household. Like they at 18, they can just start and like just go career, kids go. But like people with like mental health issues, like our starting point is way later. Like our 20s are just us healing and building our foundation. Healthy kids, their foundation is built when they're growing up. But for us, it's like we graduate or we get kicked out, we're on our own. And once we get to the point that we like want to start healing, then we work on our foundation. And then like, I don't even know how to explain it, but our 20s for like mental health, like trauma victims, like our 20s are healing. Our 20s are just fixing our foundation. A lot of those kids, their 20s are for them to pick their career and like start their life and do all this stuff, and that's just not us. And I feel like a lot of us like will look at their life and like compare. Like there's this Becca and Clayton or something like that. She comes from, I saw her in college. There's like 3 friends from Wisconsin, but they have both, like, they come from 2-parent households. They went to college, they met their man, they left college, got married, and I think one girl, she works like 2 days, and the rest she's just, her husband's like nurse, and the rest she's just like taking care of the baby and like posting TikToks and videos and having like her soft girl like matcha era. And another girl, her and her husband are both nurses, but they all like have like these picture perfect lives, and they're so young. And I like see that, and I feel so like behind in life because I am 26 and I don't have a career. I don't have a stable job. I don't have like friends. My family's not close, and like I have nothing in life. Like I am like at rock bottom. I'm like worrying about like someone making fun of me, and I feel like so inadequate compared to them. But it's just like they had healthy like two-parent like households where their foundation for their life was like being like started and being like prepared when they were like two or when they're newborns, and like ours was never prepared. I've never had like a guardian, like like a parent figure. I've always been on my own. So I'm 26 and I'm just starting my foundation and healing era. So I'm not behind in life. For someone that grew up with trauma, I am like my 20s is for me to heal. I could be working at IHOP for 3 more years, but as long as I have so much healing, which I'm already healing a lot, like it's actually really crazy. For the first time in 6 years, like I understand like my path. Like I went to Starbucks, and like usually I'm in my house. I don't have windows, and I just lay in there and I scroll on TikTok or scroll on YouTube or Instagram for 16, 17 hours. That was been my life for like 6 years. No friends, no nothing. And just being depressed and being like in the sympathetic nervous system, like, and freeze response, like just my body would just shut down because I was like just under so much. And yeah, I went to Starbucks, I was reading a book, and I felt so peaceful, so like calm, being in nature, listening to the birds. And I realized like this is what I want my life. So I'm like, this is my path. So I'm trying to work 2 jobs, 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the other 4 days are just spending time in nature, reading, doing yoga, being by the water. I love being by the water, but thinking about like how I want my life, I want this to be my life. It made me so happy, and I felt so much peace. So I know that this is what I need to do, and this is my path. I've never like to have the most peaceful, happy like life where I just work on my trauma, and that like makes me happy to think about that. Like not prioritizing working every day and making money, like just pay off my debt and work 3 days, which I am already trying to look for a second job right now, serving job. But yeah, and take the 4 days and just heal and just be in nature. And like it made me so happy because I finally found like a sense of direction. And so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, like our lives are just so different, and I could, yeah, be working at IHOP for 3 more years, but as long as I'm healing, like I'm making so much progress. Like I'm so happy that that's good for me, because my 20s is for healings, and then one of my 30s I'll start being like, what am I gonna do when I get older, But I'm not doing that now. I'm not behind. I'm not lost. Like I am doing fine, but I feel really good right now. I finished a shift and had confidence because of my prescription glasses that I couldn't see out of, but I felt better because it was blurry. The glasses I got from Dollar Tree, but they're so blurry, I can't even see, but I'm like, it makes me feel better that I don't see faces and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like such a different, like a contrast from yesterday or this morning, because this morning I had derealization. So I woke up, I was so stressed and so like sad. I woke up, look in the mirror, and I see myself, but I don't see it as myself. I see it as another person looking back at me, which is the scariest thing in the world. And like I'm like doing like this, and I'm freaking out because I don't see myself. I see that person staring back at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am like going through it. But yeah, I'm just happy with my healing. I screwed up this job. I screw up all my jobs, but this is my first time where I screwed up a job, and I am actually like looking and seeing where I could do better, like where I messed up, what I did wrong, and I'm gonna do better at my next job. And I could be at my next job for 3 months, but as long as I get out of the job with being very introspective, like then I'm fine with that. Go job to job, I don't care. But I'm just glad that I'm like healing, and yeah, I am my gosh. Yeah. Also, I've got addictive personality. So I see this guy, Jonathan Marchena. We've never talked to him. I always feel like he stares at me from the stage, but I mean, I could be making that in my head. But I am like, my body, I think I'm like in another limerick state with this dude. I've never talked to him before, but I'm like becoming obsessed. I'm like, he's all I need, and like I'm like telling everyone about him, like he's ever talked to me or ever showed interest, and like having my siblings follow him. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm in a limerick stage again. And like it sucks having mental health problems and also isolating yourself because your body like just does like it just does random stuff. And so like I'm obsessed with this dude that I've never met, and I have to look at his Instagram all the time, and like I talk about him all the time, like I've known him and I have my friends follow him, and he doesn't know I exist, and there's no way that he would ever, I mean, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of cute. There's no way I don't think he would give me like a chance. You know, everyone wants him. He's a little short though. But whenever, this is my second time being in a limerick state. My first time was at Trip Diners with Christopher Connerly. He's hot. But I just looked at, I was like in like a psychotic episode, and I just looked at him, and just like that I became obsessed and was like, I love this man. I want like everything about his, it's crazy because I used to like, after him, all the characteristics of him that I loved, and like his eyes and like how he looked, it just like that, it changed what I wanted in a guy like that. So now everything I want in a guy is because of Christopher Connolly. Like, yes, I can't, if the guy doesn't have the same characteristics of Christopher, then I'm like, I don't want him. But that's because I was like in a psychotic state. I've never like been touched, never like, I'm a virgin, never like I've never had that emotions. And then like just like that, I became like in a limerick stage, and then like was like salivating for him, which is the craziest thing. But this is, that was like a year and a half ago, and then I was gonna send him nudes too. I still want to send him nudes and block him, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But that was a year and a half ago, and so now I am in another limerick stage with another guy. And I feel like the only reason I am because I don't know him yet, and I like, from what I can tell, I see that his characteristics are the same as Christopher's. So that's crazy. I don't know. I want to like heal and like start some business and like change my name and get an LLC. I'm changing my name to Batani Rain. My whole life, I don't have a middle name, but my Instagram handle for like my whole life has been Rain, REIGN. I love Rain. And then my name is Batani, but it has an E, but I don't want the E there. So I just want to take the E off my first name and then just add Rain with like the hyphen. But I want to change my name. I want to start an LLC. I want to do like, I'm getting surgery, but I want to do like some stuff and heal so much, like heal before I get with someone. But I want to do that all this year, before I get with, I don't know if we're gonna get together, but I don't know. He's really short, but before I start dating. So I know what I want to be in my mind. I know who I want to be, a picture of my want to be. I just have to get there slowly but surely. But I will use the rest of this year to heal, and this month, or this, my 20s to heal and just be happy. So